I'm going to say something as the AI realtor that I probably shouldn't, considering I literally do this as a service for realtors and real estate teams. Most real estate agents don't need AI to solve their business problems. Crazy, right? Well, fundamentally, when it comes to business, there's the idea of theory of constraints, meaning not necessarily what do you need to add to your business to do better. It's more about removing the roadblocks. If you want to use the analogy of a water hose, if water is flowing through the hose and you go like this and you break the hose, water can't flow out the other side, right? So what wouldn't solve the problem is punching more water through the hose. You could just go like this so the water flows freely. And so today, what I want to do is talk through practically how I sit down with people and evaluate their business from a business standpoint first and then AI consultation second, so that we can figure out what is the best implementation of AI in your business, or do we need to do other stuff first before we start throwing AI at the problem? Because there's a lot of realtors who say, my business needs AI. And yeah, it probably does, but it may not do the thing that they want it to do. Because the truth is, AI will not fix the chaos in your business, it will expose it. What do I mean? Well, most realtors are asking me, well, what AI tool should I use? What's the newest and coolest? This is not going to solve your business problem. Finding new, shiny tools is not going to help you. And take it from somebody whose business chaos was amplified by AI, and I've over time had to dial it in and get hyper focused. The question isn't what's the new shiny AI tool that's going to solve my problem. It doesn't work like that. You need to start with, where is the business leaking? Where is the chink in the hose so that you can unconstrain it? And there's fundamentally three things that are interconnected, that I talk through with people to assess the status of their business and figure out exactly what do they need in their business now. If it's AI, that's awesome, and I would love to help with that. But if it's not, where do we need to start? And there's three interconnected areas that we need to start, which is systems, processes, and data. This is what businesses fundamentally live on, and they sound businessy, but it's probably simpler than you're making it in your head if you haven't done this stuff before. Step one is a system. A system is the overarching understanding of how your business works. Who's in it? What do they do? If you cannot articulate to a TC what they need to do, if you could not articulate to a virtual assistant what they would need to do for you if you were to hire them hypothetically for free tomorrow, your system is broken. You need to be very specific about what goes on under the hood. Does that make sense? The next part is processes. So a lot of people's processes are kind of broken, right? They have an idea of how it works, but it might not be systematized or written down or even in a reasonably organized or trustworthy checklist. You have to be able to delineate exactly how you do things. If you were to hand it off to somebody who has no idea of how this thing goes, then it's fundamentally not done the right way, and you need to clean up those steps or at least clarify it. And then the final one is going to be data. So if your data is bad or possibly too spread out and living in too many locations, then it's bad. So obviously solve the first problem. If you're not getting the right data, that's a thing in itself. But most of the time that's not the problem, because we don't really influx a lot of necessary data. It's more of, we as realtors have it in a lot of places. We have a CRM that maybe has a few things. We have a signing thing that has this thing. We have a transaction. We have a spreadsheet. We have, goodness, many, many emails. There's a lot of places where things live, messages or whatever, right? There's a lot of places where all of these things live that are not interconnected, and somebody has to connect them, and that takes a lot of time. And quite frankly, I think this is probably fundamentally one of the biggest and most easily solvable problems when it comes to an AI agent. So the question is, how do we find the real AI gap? So we have to build an employee. Make this smaller. We have to build an employee. And once you clarify those other things, gotta love formatting. Once you have written down these things and they are made clear, you can start having AI fill in the gaps. The clarity will help you connect and fill in and make things smoother and amplify the now lack of chaos and forced clarity into your business, the unchinked hose, and now you can send more water through it. The way we do this, the way I do it when I'm sitting down with somebody, is kind of like a doctor's appointment. We do start with fundamentally those other things, but let's say all of these other things have been solved. So let's say I sit down with you and you have systems, you have processes, and you have data. It all lives in your business and it's solid. The next step for you, if you want to know where does the AI gap actually live, it is in having a second brain. It is in essentially having a virtual assistant that understands it all and can connect it. So let me give you an example. I worked with a top agent here in Lynchburg, and she was doing lots of deals, tons and tons of deals, new construction, all kinds of stuff. And she had systems and processes and data. It did live all in her head, so that was the first problem we solved, is talking through it so I could understand. But then realized the fundamental issue was she needed one area that connected to all these different points and had the context of the processes and the business, so that she didn't have to have it all up here, because it becomes incredibly overwhelming, and many of you probably experience this, if you have to keep it all in your head or even just on a piece of paper. So for her, the gap was connectivity and having a place where this connectivity lived that she could access it quickly. And so we just built her, and this was on her local machine because that was the simplest way to do it. You can do it on cloud servers. But we solved the problem by just connecting it using an agentic platform and giving it a couple of different tasks that she did daily, repeatable things that were in her system, that were in her processes, that could help her focus in on what was actually needed for her business versus just doing the back end work and just trying to keep up with everything all the time, because that's just not useful. What I want you to get out of this also is that the most common trap I see, mostly with teams, is lead management. And usually what they mean is a chatbot, right? They get lead of influx and they don't know how to communicate over time with their clients. And the truth is, there's plenty of platforms. If you just want an AI chatbot that's understanding of real estate is solid, there's plenty of them. There's Ylopo, there's Reminder Media, there's Lofty, there's all kinds of them. If you need that AI system, because those are generally based around AI, that's not the thing you want to build. If the thing exists that you can plug into your business, the tool that you can plug into your business to solve some of the problems, like leaking leads or losing leads, those are problems that are already pretty reasonable solvable with some other technologies. Let me tell you where the gap honestly lives, and this is from my experience of working with others and even in my own business being a part of a team. I find it is in the connectivity. And one of those problems is transactions because things live in emails, they live in spreadsheets, they live in CRMs, they live in texts. And if you are the one who has to connect these all the time, you fundamentally are going to be the bottleneck of the business. It's helpful to have an automated thing, AI employee, that will help you catch up with that faster than you having to jump between these. The next one is any kind of browser input. So I put listing input here, but it's anything that requires you to clicky clicky on the computer. So if you are on your computer and you're going tick, 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 and doing a bunch of different things, and it doesn't take a lot of nuanced understanding, AIs can probably do that. Let me give you an example. The other day, a client messaged me and said, "Hey, I need you to connect me to a lender." And I just hopped onto my AI agent and I said, "Hey, I need you to connect this person with this lender, send them a message." And it literally went and it did all of it. It opened up my messages, my contact, it did everything. The CRM, it found the client, it sent them the group chat, everything, right? It's those things that will help you add up over time, saving time so that you can use your time more effectively, or as we realtors know, just get some time back. Because the truth is, you just want to make more money with less time. Fundamentally, that's what business is about. And for some people, maybe it's just getting the time back and they don't really need more money, but they just don't want to have to do all that management all the time and the little admin work that so many realtors have to do just on a daily basis. Um, Scheduling is kind of on there too. So I use it to help me with showing schedules. I build a whole app around it, but you can do it with an AI agent too. The app is called Sociopath. You can go check it out. But I know, pun intended. But using it to help you schedule, because planning routes and all that stuff, like that's a pretty hefty, time consuming thing. And then, as I said, the cross system admin work where you have to just go between this thing and put it here and then move it here. That is fundamentally the thing that AI is the best at. It connects, and it's definitely smart enough to understand now, especially with the models being so smart, what you're asking and where it needs to go. And especially if you have clarity in your business, then it's going to be pretty easy to throw an AI agent at it and solve that problem. So the one thing I want you to take away from today is look at the constraints of your business first. Are the systems, processes, and where data lives in your business clear? If I asked you for them today, could you say, here it is, and I could understand how this business works, even if I had no experience in real estate? If the answer is no, start there. Figure out what is the one thing in your business that if you changed it today, it would completely launch your business differently. This will fix the leaks in your business or just fundamentally help you understand how to grow it more quickly. And then if you are still having a hard time trying to figure that out yourself, you can book a link. I'll have it below. We can go through it. I call it the AI business audit, where we start with that and then we move towards, okay, do you need an AI agent that can help you with XYZ? Or do you just need to go and maybe fix a couple of other things in your business, get a CRM, get a tracker from activity to income, whatever it may be. Thank you for watching. If there's something specifically that you would like to hear more about or want to see what I do or elsewise, just let me know. I would love to share. This is just raw Adam wanting to be real about business, real estate, and AI. I'll talk to you guys soon.